Go ahead, Brendan.
Welcome to the favorites presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. I'm Brandon Kravitz, sitting back, sweating a Magic Celtics game right now as we speak, with the queen of the pod, Kendra Middleton, and our stats guy himself, Evan Abrams, as we react to a Week 12 in the NFL. Quick recap on the parlay. We did just wrap Cowboys Eagles. What a comeback from the Dallas Cowboys. They were down by 21, wound up winning on a walk-off field goal. So shout out to Stuckey. He was the only one that hit as far as our three-leg parlay goes. Now, I would have had the Bengals plus 7.5, but I got bullied into taking their damn money line. And so we had that in there, but it wouldn't have mattered because Shador Sanders, of all people, roasts the parlay more than anybody else as he picks up his first win as an NFL quarterback, and the Browns take down the Raiders. That would have been the third leg for us. Kendra, what do you have to say for yourself?
I think that I feel like the biggest asshat in the world because I told not just our show, but multiple shows, at least three. The words came out of my mouth that this was my favorite play of the week, that Shador sucked. We were all unanimously like, this is the easiest one of the week. We don't even need to talk about it. That's the one. We're moving on. But you know what? GG's to the Shador truthers. I would like to shake Josina Anderson's hand right now. This is it. You know what? The NFL needed some prime time on the TV. They needed some extra dollars. I bet that we fade the shit out of him next week and it works out for us.
Evan, I saw you share the percentages. It seemed like the public was not backing down from Shador Sanders, and they were rewarded. I think that perhaps if we're thinking about this from a football perspective, this is why you can't fire a guy like Kevin Stefanski. Think about all of the different quarterbacks that this man has had to coach throughout his time with the Cleveland Browns, and he finds a way to sort of coach around these guys. And the other piece of this, and why outside of the parlay that we had, look, if one of us is in, we're all in when it comes to that. So um I will take ownership of it as well because we have to talk these things through. But one of the reasons I did not have this as an individual play is I do not trust Geno Smith with my money as a favorite. And I think that was the web that we stepped into. But Evan, how do you break this one down? And were you at all impressed with what you saw from Shador Sanders today?
I think the story was just on the other side, like you said, 10 sacks. Everyone was gambling on Shador being terrible in this game, kind of forgetting that Cleveland's defensive line and what Myles Garrett was going to be the story of the game. And whenever you try to bank on what's going to happen on the other side, like when you have a Raiders Browns game and everyone's like, oh, what we saw in a small sample, everyone's going to bet against Shador. Well, everyone was betting on Shador in this game. Everyone was trying to be, I guess, like a little fancy and trying to look at the other side. The money, the tickets, everything was on Cleveland and the line kind of just stayed still. So obviously there was a sense of even action there because the line didn't move a ton. But honestly, it's Cleveland's defensive line that's the story. Ridiculous.
So, full transparency here. I am also the pregame, halftime, and postgame show host for the Orlando Magic on the radio, and I'm doing that job right now as we squeeze this live show in as we speak. So, they're getting blasted by the Celtics right now. So, this postgame show will be agony and also a breeze all at the same time. But because I'm locked in on that with one eye on what's going on in the NFL, I saw that the Cowboys made this comeback.
Yeah.
They're down 21. I would catch a touchdown here and there, and then they end up winning on a walk-off Brandon Aubrey field goal. Evan, how did this happen? How did the
Uh,
Cowboys come all the way back against Philadelphia today?
if you just look at the box score, like say you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the play-by-play, the drives for Philly in the second half, like tell the it's ridiculous. Literally coming out of the half, and even if you go before that, so after they score the touchdown to go up 21 nothing, it's punt, 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 miss field goal, fumble, punt. That is how the game ends with Dallas walking off. So to me, it's the story of the second half on Philly's offense. Like literally every single week all they can do is put together one half. Kendra, you watch the game. Like, what are we doing here? Like, if you're Philly, I think you assumed that the offense was going to be the problem in this one. It's the reason most people like the 3 and the 3.5. But like second half, how does that happen?
I think that we can kind of take away from this that the Eagles have moved from giving us nothing from a quarter at the beginning of the year to a quarter and a half, midway through the year. And now, as we're like kind of getting to Thanksgiving, it's like pretty much a half that both sides of the ball just go brain dead. I don't know what it is, but it's continuously gotten worse as the season's gone on. Saquon is just getting shut down. I don't know. I don't like, there's no way the defenses have just figured him out, but I think that it's just they continuously on both sides of the ball go completely just they can't do anything for an entire half. It's nuts. There's no other way to put it than they just go brain dead because there's no way you have that much talent. You're getting that much out of rookie contracts. You're the reigning Super Bowl champions and you can't figure it out for, downs and drives at a time.
We liked Dallas in this game, and I think this is a good example of sometimes you don't know how your side is going to come to fruition, like how it's going to play out. So never give up on a wager, my friends. The Bears, by the way, play the Eagles on Black Friday. The Bears, I wrote down a couple of notes throughout the day. The Bears are the horseshoe in their ass team. But I just don't think we can bet against the Bears at this point. There's always that team that you can't quite quantify it, but they always find a way. And they've had things really go their way in going up against Mason Rudolph today and then winning by 3. You wonder if Aaron Rodgers is out there. Is it a different story? So that's one of the games that we'll end up looking at.
We didn't get Percocet Aaron Rodgers, and I'm so upset.
You had your chance. Instead, we
against
got
Chicago too. I mean, come on, it would have been great.
Right. We got a mustached Mason Rudolph who looks like he's on a banned list somewhere or pops up as a red dot in your neighborhood. And then you've got we were just talking about the Cowboys. They take on the Chiefs. That's a big Thanksgiving game. That's going to break break records as far as ratings go. And so we'll break all of that down when we get to Tuesday's episode. Let's hand out our goats and wotes. How can we not give a goat to Jahmyr Gibbs? 260 yards, 3 touchdowns. Now, the Lions didn't come through for me. I had them -10 in this game. Got incredible closing line value as this one closed north of 13. But still, as far as gods at the running back position go, I would say Jahmyr Gibbs is certainly that. And I'll come up with a wote. Evan, what about you?
Let's see. My goat's got to be probably Myles Garrett. I would say I'm going to go back to that. Up to 18 sacks, literally legendary at this point in terms of going after the record. So honestly, I'm a fan. Hope he gets it. Another goat, I would probably say Green Bay finally covering a big spread. Like the defense showed up. I would say instead of goat, it's probably McCarthy as a wote, but we'll leave that aside.
What about you, Kendra?
I was going to say Shador Truthers, but since we already talked about that, I know that they didn't win, but I did have the over in this game. I got to give it to Cam Ward, like he went out there and put up 24 points against this Seattle Seahawks team. Seattle still won, but the over hit, and he looked way more competent than he has through a decent stretch of this season against a good team. I was impressed with him today. He used his legs a lot. Good for Cam Ward.
I mean, Jackson Smith-Njigba probably would be a goat.
My God.
I would say as well. I believe so. 1,307 or 1,300.
I like to give it to the losers. Yards. Come on, I'm a Jags fan. I gotta. The obvious ones are there. You guys took them. Let me cook.
That's fair.
Let me cook. Real recognize real.
I do have a quick humble brag. I do have a fantasy team today with Jahmyr Gibbs and JSN on it, and
wow.
We're eating, fam. The Titans, by the way, your beloved Titans, Kendra, have covered 3 straight games now. So perhaps this is a team that we need to start taking financially serious again.
No, the Patriots are in bet jail. Are we all
there? I will
there?
say this, though. I believe fired head coaches like Post are now 5-2. So you're completely right, Kendra. Nailing it right now.
And I think that it goes back to something that you share in the primer every week when a coach does end up getting axed. It's not so much about the week that they get fired. That's when everybody wants to hop in on that team. It's the weeks that follow, and I think that that's what we're seeing with Tennessee, Evan.
Yeah, I think it's some of that. I mean, I think some people say there's a little bit of a bounce and a 1 week bounce, like off of the firing, a little bit of motivation, and you kind of come back to the mean. I mean, overall, it's easy to look at the sample size as a whole, and usually that first game gets a little bit of a bump, but kind of nice to see the Giants and Titans at least fighting hard. But I feel like we can't end the show or even, without talking about Jameis. I mean, what we saw out of him today was absolutely extraordinary. The only thing that was missing was I was waiting for him to throw a pick six in overtime to blow the cover because getting us all the way there and then handing the ATS one to Detroit would have been the ultimate.
Well, yeah, I kind of needed that. And I did think that it was a possibility. Hard to get a 10-point cover in overtime, but if anybody can do it, it would
That's
be
what I was
Jameis
going to
Winston.
say. It was going to be him.
I mean, this probably isn't the worst of the day, but for me, it was because I think that if the Lions had covered that number against the Giants, I would have been in the green. Instead, I'm probably going to finish just south of that. But the Lions defense gave up 20 first half points. You do want to give some credit to Jameis. This is a functional Giants team with him at quarterback. Who knew? Well, I guess a lot of people did because there's a lot of Jameis truthers that are out there. But this Lions defense, off of a loss at home, giving up 20 first half points to the Giants, to me is completely unacceptable. I need a ruling before we hand out our Monday Night Football parlay. The Chiefs are still pretty sketchy. They won the game against the Colts today. Daniel Jones, I think, is mostly to blame for this. He had 0 first downs in the fourth quarter and in overtime. We said that if they don't cover the spread, they're in bet jail. I wound up pushing on the Chiefs today. That was my plant the flag game. I got it at 3. They won by 3. So where are they in terms of their parole hearing, Kendra? What should I do with the Chiefs? Because they play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and we're betting on that game in some direction.
Oh, God. I don't know. Why are you putting me on the spot about this? I don't.
You're the judge. This is a parole hearing on the Chiefs. You are the judge. Are they in jail or are we letting them out on bond?
I think we let them and the Patriots sit in bet jail for a week. That's what you get. You get a week in jail.
All right. So I might end
I
up
get that
taking
it's
the Cowboys.
Thanksgiving and everybody wants to bet on the Cowboys for Thanksgiving. So maybe this is tough because it's the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Here we go.
I don't want anything
we need
to do
Evan
with
to
it.
break the tie because this is what Evan does on this podcast. By the way, the Chiefs
you're
are
the
favored
judge.
the Chiefs are favored by 3.5. Taking a plus 3.5 on a Cowboys team that can definitely score on this Chiefs squad, that does sound mighty tasty. I might hop in on that before the end of the night, Evan. But
I mean, the line was 4.5. So literally in the last hour or so, you've seen some money come in on Dallas, especially after the comeback. So if you wanted Dallas, you most likely wanted Philly to take care of business. So I could probably see that line coming down even more at this point, just seeing what we've seen and what Kansas City did today. The stat, honestly, from Kansas City's point of view, I mean, they played today. They didn't sack DJ once. Okay, they lost the turnover battle 2-0. They went 1 for 6 in the red zone, trailed by double digits twice, and still won the game. So it's just like it's an absolute fluke show. But it's usual Kansas City. It's nice that the Kansas City from last year is back, where they play like absolute crap and still win the game. But welcome back.
We will get to our Monday Night Football parlay before we get you on out of here as we wrap Week 12 in the NFL. Get a fun Sunday Night Football game to get to, Bucks Rams tonight. I'm going to toss it to Kendra, though, for a quick word about our friends at DraftKings.
The Favorites podcast has teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, where new customers can bet $5 and get $200 back in bonus bets if your bet wins, plus 3 months of NBA League Pass. Stay in on the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at even bigger payout. To get started, use promo code FAVORITES when signing up with DraftKings. Again, use code FAVORITES when signing up and bet $5 to get $200 back in bonus bets if your bet wins, plus 3 months of NBA League Pass. The crown is yours.
Take on the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. We don't have anything going on Sunday night, so we're just going to kick our feet up and enjoy Bucks Rams tonight. Let's get to our Fast Pass parlay before we settle in for this NFC showdown. 2 picks each. We kick one out 3-leg parlay, Monday Night Football. Kendra, sell us on something.
I have Bryce Young for an anytime interception minus 129. I think that is probably the best thing that I have to offer in this game. I was looking at Ricky Pearsall, decided not to go with that. The other thing I'm going to offer up is going to be the under at 49.5. I think that the Panthers have a really tough schedule coming up. I do expect their season over to hit at some point, but I think that this could be a little bit of a look ahead spot at the rest of their season. Good team, getting healthy in the 49ers. Brock Purdy's back. Got to be kind of a little bit of a get right game for them, beat up on a bad opponent. But 49.5 from a Panthers team that I'm not sure is going to get a ton of scoring. It feels high.
I think I'm more in on the anytime INT for Bryce Young. I think this team's going to be throwing a lot, so I could see him putting the ball in traffic.
Chasing. Yeah,
this
they're going to
feels
have
like
to
a
be
high-scoring
chasing.
game. I know this is a high total, but I'd be more inclined to take the over in this game. Evan, what about you? Where do you fall on that? And then what about you as far as a nomination?
Just glad we're on the same page because my first instinct was to take the under. So if you're going to take the over and I like the under, then we're going to go with the interception. So we'll add the Bryce interception there. The two props I was going to look at. So right now, CMC is listed at minus 370 to score a touchdown in this game. He was minus 400 this morning when we did our show. So at this moment, I think I would be interested in actually like Brian Robinson to score a touchdown. I see him at like the 4 range. So either my two props were Brian Robinson to score a touchdown, or I like Tedore McMillan to go over whatever number you want to find. I see some number in the 60s. You want to do 60 plus? I can do that as well. But those would be the two things I bring to the table.
So
I like Tet.
I was actually going to go Tet McMillan myself over 4.5 receptions.
Okay.
Is this wise on I guess in some ways this is a correlated parlay. If we were to go with Tet McMillan over 4.5 catches, Tet McMillan over
I like the receptions.
63.5 yards and a Bryce Young interception, we're basically saying Young's going to be airing it out throughout the course of the night. His number one guy is going to get targets, and he's also going to give the ball to the opposition. Are we in on the Bryce to Tet to the San Francisco 49ers parlay fast pass Monday Night Football action? Let me see if I can get a quick price on that.
I mean, terrible pass defense. So Bryce should just try his best, and then at some point he'll make a mistake. So I ship it. Let's go.
Got that now at plus 260 over on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Tet McMillan's over 63.5 receiving yards, over 4.5 receptions, and Bryce Young to throw an INT. The favorites will return on Tuesday afternoon. As we look ahead to week 13, it'll be a giant Thanksgiving episode. We will feast on all of our favorite features, from the plant the flag to the 2 Kings and a Queen parlay. Thanks to Kendra Middleton, who is somewhere in an apartment right now as we speak. Evan Abrams, the king himself. Shout out to our producers, Gifford Gould and David Payne, and our sponsors, DraftKings. The crown is yours. Good luck tonight with all of your bets. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you.